As you said in the introduction, we like to say a part of our vision is we grow food that heals, connects, and grows. What do I mean by that? I believe that if you can grow nutrient-dense food, and it all starts with the soil. If we can grow nutrient-dense food, we can start bringing healing to people's body naturally. By the food that we eat. Now, we can't cook all the nutrition. We can't grow it with a lot of nutrition and cook all the nutrition out of it and then throw some fat back in with it. But you do what you want to do. I'm just saying. I'm not telling you how to cook, how to run your house. I'm just saying. You got to be careful. But we believe that if you grow nutrient-dense food, we can start bringing healing back to our body, because you got to understand the green beans that you eat today may not be the green beans that your grandmama ate. A lot of things have changed, right? And not only has the GMOs and things like that changed, but also our soils have changed. And so we like to say we grow food that will bring healing. We like to say we grow food that connects. I'm from the South. I grew up in Alabama. My dad was a cow-calf operator. And boy, I tell you, I'm thankful for those days now, but I can't tell you I was so grateful when I was growing up, because my dad in the summertime, we didn't have no tractors that worked properly, that hay bale would break down. Guess who had to get up in there and dig all the hair out of it so we could fix the broken belt? Yeah, you know what I mean? It was me. And then I went to college and my dad got an air-conditioned tractor. I thought, man, come on. He said, well, I ain't got no help now, so I got to do better, right? But here's my point. In the South, we connect around food. It's usually deep, fat, fried, but we still connect around food, right? So we grow food that connects people. And then the growing part is, it is my goal to grow agriculture in the black and brown community. It's funny because when I was in high school, I got a chance to work at the local soil conservation service as a project. And I remember sitting in that office. I mean, it's all come today. This is where I shared with the guys last night at dinner. I said, here's a common thing you're going to hear from me tomorrow. I've had more good things happen to me by accident than I have on purpose. Now, I say accident, I don't mean accident, but I know everybody understands accident, coincidence, all those. I use those words because I know that's what people understand. I don't believe it's an accident. I think it's God appointed, but that's a whole other story we can have on another day. But here's the thing. I remember sitting in that office and thinking to myself, someday I'm going to work for this company and I'm going to teach black farmers how this whole system works. Here I am today. I was sitting there a few minutes ago and I had a moment like, man, God, you are good. Because even when I don't know what I'm saying, you're still good. And here I am in this room teaching farmers, mostly black farmers, about agriculture. So we want to grow the agriculture in the community. We want to take that stigma away about, agriculture is slavery. No, agriculture has a lot of opportunities. And guess who's missing at the table of the agriculture conversation? The black and brown community. And you don't know how much that affects you. This gentleman over here just did something so powerful. If you guys missed it, it might have went over your head. But I told him, I said, when you got to those numbers, I couldn't hear nothing else you said. Because my mind started just running numbers. And I started thinking, if I could just get 1%, it's going to change my life. It's going to change my children's life. And guess what? I'm going after the one. He said, you don't need 1%, just get 0.25. No, I'm going after the 1%. That's the way I live. That's the way I dream. I dream big. If you're not a big dreamer, don't come talk to me. I am so far off course, but this is where we're going. All right? Rain don't just fall. Gravity has to pull it. So this is what I mean by that, right? I mean, here's the thing. If you pull it out of me, whatever it is you want to know, it'll come out, whether it's in my presentation or not. That's just the way I flow. Now, I'll get through or I won't get through, but I'm out of time, I'm out of time. That's just the way it goes. All right? So here's our operation. This is our operation right here. We were having a class. We had a group of people out at the farm. This little square right here is us. All that out there is my friend. he has a huge operation. Somebody asked me, so what breed of cows? We bring in cattle every spring. We bring in steers. We direct market steers. I'll talk about that here in a minute. Somebody said, what breed? I said, man, whatever the money is right for that year. This year we got Holsteins. You'll see some other pictures. We got Angus. We got Red Angus. I've learned two things if you're direct marketing. Now, if you're selling at a sale barn, you might need a certain breed because there's a buyers are there. They're looking for a certain color. They want a black with a white face. If you're in Iowa, you got a black with a white face. Guess how much? What are you guys getting here in Texas for finished cows right now? You don't know?
It's up there.
Man, I just looked at the paper the other day in Iowa. 1,500 pounds was selling for $198. I said, man, I don't know. I don't know if I got to get some cows sold. So, all right, this is our operation, and this is why I do it. These are my three boys. That's my wife. My wife is the smartest woman that I know. I'm telling you, that woman she's the smartest. I married up. I found a good thing. He that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. I found a good thing. And you know what's good about it is I'm a big picture guy. I think big picture. My wife thinks in details. And she gets into the details. Sometimes so far in the weeds, it drives people like me crazy. But I know I need it because she'll tell me, well, I don't know, maybe you shouldn't say it that way. Or maybe you shouldn't do it that way. And then she'll run the numbers in her head, do all those things. She's the greatest marketing person that I know that never been to a marketing class. But she tells me all the time, well, tweak this, tweak that. 11 o'clock last night when I was done tweaking this presentation, guess who got it? My wife. And she sent it back. These are the things you need to tweak. And guess what I did? Okay, y'all got it. All right, here we go. These three boys, I'm trying to get them to see that, and I don't care if they go into agriculture or not. Let me be honest with you. I don't care if they go into agriculture or not. I want them to chase the thing that God created them to do. Most important. But I think agriculture can teach them some good habits and some good work ethics, and they can realize that they can't be whatever they want to be. I don't like when people say that. They can't be whatever they want to be because God created them to be something specifically, and we got to figure out what that is, not whatever they want to be, okay? Now, I'm not telling you how to run your house, I'm just telling you how I'm training my boys, all right? Now, here's the deal. If you don't know your why, you're going to quit. You know why these people has done it for 25 years, and now they're something? Because they knew their why. If I get loud, it's not because I'm mad. It's just my passion. So listen to what I'm telling you. You got to know your why. Because your why makes you get up at 5 a.m. in the morning, go work at the farm until 7 a.m., leave the farm at 7 a.m., go work a 9 to 5 job, leave the 9 to 5 job at 4:30 in the afternoon, be back at the farm by 5, and work till dark 30 till my wife called me and say, hey, are you coming home tonight? Well, yeah, I'll be there. It's already 8:30. Okay, I'm leaving. And then I get up every morning and do it again. Why? Because I know my why. And number one, my why is to demonstrate soil health. Let me tell you an accident. Let me tell you a quick story. I didn't start this farm because I wanted to start a farm. I didn't start it because I wanted to start a business. I started it because I had been working for NRCS for over 20 years. Soil health was the big word, was the buzzword. We was learning all about soil health. But I'm going to tell you, nobody was listening to me. I had farmers, I got big farmers. I got farmers that farm 10, 12,000 acres. I got farmers that farm 35 acres. I got everything in between. The average farm size in Iowa was 350 acres, but there's everything in between. Okay? Growing corn and soybeans, that's what we like to grow in Iowa, because we're good at it. That's what they say. I said, why don't you grow something? Because we're good at growing corn and soybeans. Okay? But they wasn't listening to me when the soil health thing. So one day I was sitting in a staff meeting. The long story short is, I said to my staff, people are not listening to us because none of us farm. This was in 2019. We don't have credibility with farmers. Farmers want to listen to people who have done it. I said, I'm going to go find some land to do a soil health demonstration on. I was sitting in a meeting with a guy about 3 weeks later after I said that, and he had this 2.5 acres that I showed you the picture of. And he said, I've been growing soybeans on that field for about 10 years, and I know that's not good for it. He said, but he grows seed corn, and you can't grow other corns next to seed corn. You have to be so many feet away from it, or they will cross-pollinate, and it will corrupt the whole batch. And seed corn in Iowa is big money. You're talking about big money, okay? And so I looked at the guy, and I said to him, I said, hey, rent it to me. He looked at me like, for what? And then I gave him my story. I gave him the elevator pitch about what I was trying to do. And 2 weeks later, he called me and said, well, if you want it, you can have it. I didn't have a tractor. I didn't have a planter. I didn't have nothing. I had a hoe and a shovel, and I had knowledge because I grew up on a farm, and my mother was an avid gardener. So I went home and told my wife I had it. She said, well, that's great, baby, but how you going to pay for it? In other words, she said, it ain't coming out of this household budget. And she's the CEO, so I got to go by what she say, right? She's the CEO of our house. She said, it ain't coming out of this budget. How you going to do it? I said, well, we both grew up in the South. There's nobody here growing vegetables from the South on a commercial level. So we can solve a problem. There's a lot of people in Waterloo, Iowa. Waterloo, Iowa has John Deere, and we have the railroad there, right? So a lot of people left in the Great Migration. They left Mississippi, they left Arkansas, they left Alabama, and they went to work at John Deere because they could work in the foundry of John Deere, and then they could work in the railroad bottom there because the railroad needed them to break a strike. Okay? And so they had all these people with that southern roof. I said, I think I can tap into that and start growing things like purple hull peas and okra and things like that on a commercial level. I am so ahead of my step. We're going to skip through a lot of things. So, and so I said, well, we'll grow those things and we'll pay for it that way. She said, that sounds good. Let's do it. So she came up with the name Southern Goods. She designed the logo. She came up with the name, all of that stuff. And we Southern Goods because we wanted to focus on Southern things. And so the first year in business, we grew, well, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let me go through these things. We want to grow nutrition-dense vegetables. We want to impact our community. And let me say this last thing. We want to maximize profitability. Well, don't talk about money because you sound like you're chasing money. Well, let me give you a news break. Okay? Let me give you a news break, all right? This is for free. This part right here is going to be for free. If you are in business and you're not in business to make money, you have an expensive hobby and you ought to just go play golf. Okay? I'm serious. I'm in it to make money. I'm not ashamed. I'm not going to be ashamed to tell you that I'm in it to make money.
Chase the bag, brother. Chase the bag.
You know what I'm saying? No, don't get me wrong. I ain't chasing money. Chase me. I don't chase money. No. I don't do that. That's a bad habit that in my opinion, is a bad habit to chase money. But I tell you, a guy told me this years ago. I'm giving y'all my good stuff now. Okay? This guy told me this a long time ago. He said, Shaffer, people pay you to solve problems. And the bigger problem you solve, the more money they will pay you. That stuck with me. That's been 20 years ago. And I'm solving a problem. So I knew I could solve a problem. You keep it over time?
I'll keep up now.
Okay, keep over time. Because I'll tell you, I'm going to get off course if you don't keep over time, all right? So here's the deal. And so you need to figure out how do you make money doing it. If I can't make money doing this, let somebody else do it. I believe in staying in my lane. What is my lane? And if it's outside, people come to me all the time with great ideas. And I say, that ain't in my lane, brother. I'm sorry, I can't get involved. It ain't in my lane. God called me to this lane. I'm solving this problem. And I'm staying right there. I'm not getting over, well, Shaffer, the new thing is this. Great, go do it. Let me tell you something else, the reason why. Another part of my why. Because in me, there's this history. In 1910, blacks owned somewhere between 15 and 19 million acres of land. Do you guys realize that was only 45 years after slavery ended? When that hit me, that 45 years later, where did they come from? Because this guy here just said they've always had the solution. They've always been innovators. In 1920, there was almost 1 million black farmers. And in 1920, they owned 14% of all the land ownership. Now, that's important that you get these numbers right here because I'm about to show you what has happened since then. In 2012, there was 1 million in 1920. 2012, 44,000. But that was up 12% from 2007. Make up 1.4% of all farmers were black. In 2017, there was 45,000. Made up 1.3% of all farmers. Texas, congratulations, the most black farmers are in Texas. But guess what? You only make up 3% of all farmers in Texas. You got the most black farmers anywhere in the United States, according to the statistics, but you still only make up 3% of all farmers in Texas. Now, I think there's probably more, but we got to have a conversation about who's a farmer. And that's what that means. So Mississippi is 2, but they make up 13% of all farmers. Alabama is 3rd, they make up 6%, so that's what the numbers are telling you there. Blacks currently own 0.5% of America's farmland. 0.5% is black owned. Okay? About 1 million acres. We operate about 4.7 million, meaning, like I rent the ground that I operate, that I farm on, so it's that I'm in the 4. Well, I wasn't in the 4.7 in because I didn't do that statistics in 2017. Since 1910, 80% of the land owned by blacks have been lost. Now, these 3 things here are my reasons. They're not something I went and found in a book. So, you can take them or leave them. But I think part of it is there was no successional planning, right? Everybody, there wasn't a plan on how we're going to pass the farm down, right? And then a lot of it's because of just a lack of understanding of how to do that. And then the Great Migration. The kids had to get off the farm, and I don't blame them. Nobody, you couldn't make it. The factories was hired in Michigan and places like that, and people left, right? John Deere said, come work in the factory. And then 3rd one, operating capital. It takes money to run a farm, right? And so they was lacking operating capital. Still to this day, lacking operating capital. We're not passing along a lot of generational wealth, okay? So let me tell you another reason why. This is my county in Iowa, Black Hawk County in Iowa. This is a fact. 14% of the people in Black Hawk County are food insecure. 11% is the statewide number. Children less than 18 years old, 17% of the kids in Waterloo, Iowa, Black Hawk County, not Waterloo, Iowa, but Black Hawk County, are going to bed food insecure. And I have the solution. He just told me, I have the solution. Remember I told you, if I get loud, it's not because I'm mad, it's my passion coming out. Okay. So that's my why. So what do I grow? Here's a list of things that I grow. Everything there you would consider southern, I don't know nobody yet that even eat eggplant, but people keep buying them, so we keep growing. How do you even eat an eggplant? I don't know. Can we fry that up? I'm from the South. We got to be able to fry eggplant. We put enough flour on it and salt and pepper. We can eat it, right? I got to try it. When I get home, I'm going to fry eggplant. I fried some zucchini not too long ago. Man, it's actually good. I'm telling you, that was good. I was like, we're doing this every year from now on. But those are the things we mainly grow. But my bread and butter is greens. People, I sell a lot of greens. I sell greens by the truckload, 100, 200 pounds a week is nothing. And greens don't weigh that much. Purple hull peas. Let me go back and tell you guys something, how we got from a soil health project to a business. Let me jump back. So that first year, we was growing purple hull peas. Purple hull peas was kind of our staple. We was doing research. We was doing all these soil tests and all these things, blah, blah, blah. But we was growing these peas, and some was no-till, some was conventional till. And then all of a sudden, about the middle of August rolled around, the peas was ready. I told a couple of people I had peas, and my phone never stopped ringing for 30 days, 7 days a week. Somebody called me and asked me about peas. My wife got upset because she said, every day, even on Sunday, you got to go out because people are calling you. I'm tired of you talking. Give us some time. I said, honey, I'm just trying to get rid of the peas. They only last for so long. Then they dry up and they won't buy. Well, you know how that goes, right? You know, she had a right because I also, my first obligation is to my family. So she had a right to be upset because I'm telling you, this was consuming my life. And so I said to her, I think we have something. Let's forget about this soil health thing. Let's build a business. And that's how it all was born, all right? So here's some pictures of some of the stuff that we grow. Some of these was this year, some was last year. There's those Holstein steers. I know it down here, you guys are like, we only do Angus. Well, the money is just as good right there. I don't care what you say. These guys pay me good money for them steers right there. When I finish them out, a friend of mine, I told this story to somebody, a friend of mine one day was in the grocery store, ran into my wife. He said, Madeline, he said, I just want you to know, those Angus that you guys, that Angus meat I bought from you guys was some of the best I've ever had. She's telling me this story, and I'm looking at her, right? And she said, I said, well, honey, what did you say to the guy? She said, I didn't say nothing because I'm pretty sure you told me that they was Holsteins. I said, you did the right thing. He bought some more Angus next year. I didn't lie to him, my wife didn't lie to him, so don't blame us. But the meat was good, brother. Hey, I don't know. Now, if you're an Angus guy, don't get mad with me, all right? God's just trying to feed his kids. So here's the other thing. We also have, we have the cattle side. So there's southern goods and then there's grazing cattle. Grazing cattle, so hey, there you go. This is our place now. These are not stock photos. These are cattle. We do some Angus if the price is right. Okay, here's some Angus. This is my middle son. He's 11 now. And he's sitting in the hay rack. I mean, this kid right here, he hates the farm now. But that's all right. I told him, that's great. He said, Dad, he said it to me, he said, Dad, I just don't know. I don't want to be part of the farm. And I said, hey, man, I'm going to figure out what it is you're supposed to be. And it's my job to put you in the arrow and shoot you in the direction that you're supposed to go. That's my job. And if it's not farming, great. But I need you to go help me pick peas today.
Right.
I've already told this story. This is how I told you I was off track. So what I'm supposed to talk about here is how I was training farmers on soil health, but I was getting nowhere. This is a meeting that I organized of farmers, business owners. I think we was focused on co-ops that day. We wanted to train the co-ops because they're the ones out there selling the fertilizer and all that stuff to people. So we started implementing soil health principles. Phil already kind of touched on that, but here's the 5 soil health principles that we wanted to implement. We wanted to make sure that we was reducing tillage as much as possible, but here's the deal. In our world, at least, I've only found 2 ways to deal with weeds, either by chemical or by iron. And so we've not moved away from tillage. We try to reduce tillage where we can, but we still do tillage. Okay? We try to keep the soil covered as much as we can. If we don't have a crop there, we want a cover crop there. We want something growing. Why, Shaffer? Why do you want something growing? Because if you don't have the solar panels out, they can't capture sunlight, convert it to food for the microorganisms in the soil that Phil talked about. They can't keep the soil from eroding. You can't. That's it. You gotta have it covered. You gotta have it armored. We try to plant diversity of cover crops. We don't want just rye. This is just a field of rye, but we don't want just rye. You got to keep a living root in that ground because there's a world underneath your feet that you got to feed. And I'm going to tell you what microorganisms are like teenagers. If there's no food in your house, they leave. You got to keep food in the refrigerator or they are going to go to somebody else's house. So I keep my refrigerator full because I got a 14-year-old. 13-year-old will be 14 here in about a week. I got a 13-year-old, and I want his friends hanging out at my house. Because I know who he's hanging out with, I know what they're doing, what they're talking about, so I keep the refrigerator stocked. All right, that was a parenting session. Brought to you by Southern Miss. We try to integrate livestock. Now here's the deal. What if you don't have livestock? Because a lot of my people don't have livestock. Try to find some manure. Bring it in somehow, okay? Because it's really the manure, the urea and stuff like that, urine that you really want. This is how we started, people. I didn't own nothing but a hoe and a shovel, a rake. Didn't have no tractors, didn't have no equipment. My son, this is my baby boy there. He was about 3 years old there. He's 9 now. We planted collard greens by hand. We had 2.5 acres.
Wow.
Not a whole, we had 1 acre of peas, 2.5 acres of produce, 1.5 acres of produce, and so we was doing it by hand. Okay? Except for the peas, we wouldn't. I'll show you that. And then we just set up a roadside stand. Don't despise small beginnings. Some of you are sitting on the sideline. You should be, because I will tell you, you might say, well, I don't have a whole lot. We didn't have we had 6 crops the first year. We grew 6 things, that was it. And most of them were late season. They were late season crops because in Iowa, guess what? We can't plant a lot of things like purple hull peas until the end of May. Believe me, I've tried it. And they'll lay in the ground and rot because if ground temperature is not 65 degrees, they're not going to grow. Okay? So that's all we had the first year. Me and my baby boy. Selling sweet corn, selling collard greens. We would use, but here's the deal. God has really blessed me, guys. The guy rented the land from me. He said, listen, Shaffer, he said, I know you don't have any equipment, so here's what you can do. Until you can get your own, you can use mine. This guy, I ain't going to tell you how much ground he farmed, but I'm going to tell you this much. Because farmers are pretty private about stuff like that, okay? He farmed a lot of ground. He's got every type of tractor, every type of combine. He's got all the latest technology. He's got everything. Millions of dollars worth of equipment in his shed. And guess what he said to me? Just go in the shed, get whatever you need, and go to work. That's how good God is to me. I don't look at the guy, I look at God behind the guy. Now, I gotta, I don't want to get preachy on you, so I'm gonna go on about that. But here's the deal. This is like his planter that he used for the filling and stuff. This guy runs 30, 32, 24, 36. I think there's a 36. Is there a 36? I mean, if it's out there, he got it. He's got planters that's got to fold up 3 times to get them down the highway. Okay? But this is one that he uses, an old 7,006-row planter that he uses for doing the end rows on his seed corn. I was able to use that to plant peas. This is me planting the no-till peas. This is the conventional ones. Later that year, you can see they're loaded. I was glad the phone was ringing 7 days a week. That was what it looked like. We grew some pumpkins. That was the last year we grew pumpkins. I found out black people don't like pumpkins. I don't know why. Y'all said, I want a pumpkin pie. We all guess you would eat a pumpkin. Am I getting too close? Where's my timekeeper?
3 minutes.
Okay, all right. I'm good right now. Okay, so watch this. I'm going to tell you about this watermelon story. I only grew watermelons because they told me I couldn't grow watermelons. In Waterloo, Iowa, they said you can't grow watermelons, it's too far north. So I decided I was going to grow 1 row of watermelon. So what I did was I made a deal with my boys, right? I said, I tell you what, guys. I said, we're going to grow some watermelons. If you guys will come out and take care of the watermelons, you can have all the money from the watermelons. I buy the seed, I do all that. You can have all the money from the watermelons. I am a terrible negotiator. Watch this. So, because I didn't expect us to get that many watermelons. People, we started loading the back end of this gator, and these boys started selling these watermelons for $10 a pop. I went to my oldest son. This is my oldest son right here. He's almost 14 now. I went to my oldest son. I said, listen, man, can I at least get my seed money back? He said, Dad, a deal is a deal. I said, you know what? You were right, son. A deal is a deal. It's your money. He bought some custom Steph Curry Under Armour shoes. That's how much money he made that year. These boys made some money. Okay? You guys all know what those are. All right, what did we learn from year one? Boy, I am gotta hurry up. What did we learn from year one? We learned that our soils was dead. We had to start thinking about systems, people. We couldn't just be in this little tunnel. We got to think about the big picture here, right? We needed to figure out how to manage weeds because I almost killed myself the first year. And then we needed to have greater exposure and we needed more diversity. Here's how I dealt with all of those things. Number one, I started looking at my soil types. You need to know what your soils are, you need to know what your soils are capable of, and you need to know what the condition of your soil is, so you need a soil test. You can't just be guessing, oh, some triple 10 will work right here. How do you know it needs nitrogen? How do you know it needs phosphorus? Do a test, okay? We started doing that. The next thing we did, we started bringing in the biology. Our soils was dead. When I say dead, we put it under a microscope. The only thing that was surviving in that soil was what could live in anaerobic conditions without oxygen, the bad stuff. So guess what we started doing? We cheated. We started, I had a guy who had been there. He was an Elaine Ingram student, and he had learned about compost teas and extracts and all that. So we started making them. We didn't make them. He would make them, and I would buy them from him, or we would spray them on. Because it's the micro. It is. Listen to me. If you hear nothing else today, it is not the synthetic fertilizer you put out there that makes the difference. It is the biology that makes the difference. And if you don't feed them, they're like teenagers. They go somewhere else. We started bringing in covers. We did cover crops. We let them grow big, and then we went in and we rolled them. We terminated some with chemicals, but mostly we tried to, and we did some with tillage. I've gone away from the chemicals now. Now that means I got to do more tillage to terminate my cover crops. It's kind of like a two-edged sword. It cuts on both ways, right? And then we went to plastic mulch. Okay, because I just couldn't keep up with the weeds, and so we laid the plastic mulch. This is what it looked like in the early season, and right away we started planting. We started planting covers in between those, so we can have grass to walk on, and we don't have exposed soils for the next rain. Our soils are covered as much as possible. And then we went to farmers markets, and as you can see, we went to a lot of diversity. Because guess what they told us? You gotta have all this stuff on your table. We gotta have all this stuff. You gotta have tomatoes, peppers, onions, da. My wife said, baby, you need to niche down. I said, no, they told me. The people who know told me I gotta have all this stuff. Watch this. So then, I'm gonna skip several years and I'm gonna jump to year 5 so that we can get out of here. Okay, year 5, this is year 5. Over the winter, we did some planning. These was our 3 things. We knew we needed to scale, meaning we needed to have bigger customer base. We needed to scale. I heard my wife say this once. I heard my wife say this 100 times. She would say, the riches are in the niches. She would say, you need to niche down and specialize in something, and then you can grow more volume of that. And then you don't need to grow 20 different things. But what does she know? Who said everything? I mean, you know, yeah, she does know everything, but I didn't need you to say that out loud. Hey, here's the other key. Here's the other key. If you ask me anything that changed our business, to take us from how we quadrupled our income in 1 year, here it is. Here it is right here. We niched down, and we put together a production plan. We never had a production plan. So, once we niched down, watch this now, I niched down and my income quadrupled. That makes no sense, does it? But one of the ways they did it, I don't know, you guys got the LFPA here, right? So the LFPA program, I found this program by accident. An email came across my desk. This happens to me, people. I know I'm God's favorite child. I already know that. Watch this. Email come across my desk. It says we're going to have a webinar on LFPA. And LFPA stands for Local Food Purchase Assistance, right? And it's a federal program that came out of the Build Back Better. All right? And so you guys got it. And if you are farming, and you are especially a minority, black or brown, and you're not participating? This is like the guy told me when I first got my retirement fund for work. He said, Shaffer, if you don't participate, you're going to leave money on the table. I don't like leaving money on the table. You guys are leaving money on the table if you're not participating. Because I'm telling you, this program is designed to help those who've been left out of the system and to help you get a fair market price for what you're doing. I don't have to negotiate with it. I've already negotiated. Now when I load the truck, it's sold. I'm not going to farmer's market and sit all day and hope and pray somebody stop at my table. We're done. We don't go to the farmer's market. And I still, my income quadrupled. Okay, LFPA, I found out about that. People, go find out about it. Talk to Phil, he knows about it in your state. You need to find out what Texas got set up in Iowa. The way we do it is farmers sell it to distributors who then sell to the consumers or they give it away. I have a large contract in my local food bank. I have a large contract with the food bank. They're one of the distributors. I sell it to the food bank. The food bank turns around, put it in their pantry, and the community is going crazy. They had never had local ethnic food in the food bank. They would call me. I would go in there and I would deliver 250 pounds of greens, and I would deliver 200 pounds of cucumbers and 200 pounds of zucchini. We'd end up with 1,000 pounds of produce, and they would send me an email 2 days later and say, Shaffer, everything you bought in here is gone. I said, I don't know if we got a lot of poor people, a lot of greedy people. I don't know which one, but it's disappeared, and I don't care. It's going. Now, I do care about the hungry people. This is an example of us delivering to the food bank. That's my middle son, that remember the one that hates the farm. But he loves when dad is paying him. This is our trailer loaded to go. We're loaded. Cucumbers, zucchinis. We fill the boxes on the bottom. We're getting ready. We either got to do one or two things. We got to buy a bigger trailer, or actually what I'm getting ready to do is we're going to put a shelf in this trailer all the way around so we can put stuff on the next level of the trailer. That's how big it's grown in 1 year. Let me just tell you how crazy we were. This is in 2021. I'm wrapping it up here. This is how many different things we grew in 21. I said I was going to niche down. I promised my wife I would niche down. This is what 22 looks like. We didn't niche that much. This is what 23 looks like. Now we get somewhere. It was crazy when I started listening to this woman, I started making money. It's crazy. All that ain't necessary. Don't you do all that clapping like that. She's the smartest person I know. That ain't no that. Here's what the only reason I threw this in there is this. And let's take some questions. The only reason I threw this in there was this. Is your crop plan don't have to be that difficult, people. You just need to say what I'm planting, what variety of it I want to plant, how much I want to plant, when I'm going to plant it, when do I plan to harvest it, and how long should I be harvested off of that. Period. Quit making it complicated. This is a spreadsheet that I put together. And if I put it together, you can put it together. Okay? You guys got it? I see somebody taking, everybody got what they want there? All right, it don't have to be that complicated. Where are we going? I don't have time to tell you, but I can tell you this right here. The vision is big. I'm doing education. I'm going into this is a black-owned grocery store, brand new. He came to me and said, I want your stuff. We're going to have a section in this grocery store for our vegetables. We're going to have a section for our meat in this grocery store. And then I'm going to do, I was in Tennessee not too long ago, and I saw this, and I said, my God, there it is. We're going to have our own pod store. All that is a cargo shipping container wrapped. We're going to put, the difference we're going to make is we're going to put solar panels on the top so that we can put a coolant in inside and not have to worry about a generator running all the time. Okay? We're going to CSA next year. I got to keep moving. Here's what I'm not even going to get it. All I'm going to tell you about this is land prices in Iowa are no joke. 14,000. Well, this says 10. This is out of date. 10,000 is not in my county. Land selling for 14,000 an acre. I saw Texas at 25. Man, I wish I could buy some of that $2,500 an acre land. I don't know if it's true or not, but here it is. Now here's the problem. I think somebody's telling me my mic's running out. All right, here we go. 4% of the ground in Iowa, only 4% of the ground in Iowa is going to be sold to non-family members. That means the price is going to stay high for guys like me. Here's the other part of this is only 2% of the ground that goes for sale in Iowa comes on the market. It's all sold before it ever comes forward. So I got a challenge. But I'm not worried about that. That's God's problem, not mine. People, I'm not going to go through these. You can get the presentation. Let's go with questions.